Following on from the previous video, we realized that in order for us to integrate this, we need to rewrite this whole thing here as this thing here. So to do that, we would look at this, factorize it, so it becomes this times this, and then from here we would break up the fraction into two separate fractions, and then we can then integrate this. But the question is, how do you get from here to here? Meaning, how do you work out? We still need to work out A and B. So in this video, we're going to try and develop a way of working out A and B. So from here, how do you get to here? Okay, so now looking at this, so this bit is this bit here. Okay, so the question is, how do you get from here to here? Meaning, how do you work out A and B? So to work out A and B, looking at this whole thing here, to work out A, multiply both sides by this thing here. So looking at this thing here, to work out A, multiply both sides by this thing here. So on the left hand side you will have x minus 1. So you're multiplying both sides by x minus 1. So on the right hand side you will have times x minus 1 times x minus 1. And then you can see that these two here, they will cancel out, giving you then this whole thing here will be A. And then looking at this, looking at the left hand side, these two will cancel out, so the whole thing here will become this. Let's just leave this intact. Okay, so leave this intact, so it remains the same. Now in order for you to work out A, if you let x equals positive 1. Now, if you let x equals positive 1, then when you put it into here, then this thing here will become 0. Well, if this thing here is 0, then the whole thing will be 0. So to work out A, you let x equals 1. So this whole thing here disappears, and then when you put x equals 1 into here, then this will become 4 minus 1, and then put the 1 into here. So that will be 1 plus 2. That will be 3. So this thing here will be it will be 3 over 3. So hang on. So let's start again. Starting from here, to work out A, you would times both sides by this thing here, by x minus 1. That will then give you this. So now looking at this, if you let x to be positive 1, then this thing here disappears, and then this thing here will be 3 over 3. So therefore, hang on. So start again. Sorry. If you're looking at this here, multiply both sides by x minus 1. That will then give you this. And then from here you would let x equals 1. Then that would then give you this, and then A would equal 1. Okay, so we've found A. So now to find B, looking back at this, to find B, you multiply both sides by this thing here. So when you multiply by that thing there, the left hand side would be x plus 2, and then this thing here, multiply by x plus 2, multiply by x plus 2, and then you can see that these two will cancel out. So this whole thing here will become B. Let's just leave this intact. So this thing here stays the same. Let's just leave it the same. And then this whole thing, then this whole thing here will become this thing here. So to work out B, multiply both sides by this thing here. Then this whole thing here will become this. Now, looking at this, if you want to work out B, let x equals negative 2. If you let x equals negative 2, then this whole thing here will disappear. And then if you let x equals negative 2, then you've got to put negative 2 into here. So this will become negative 8 minus 1 over, you've got to put it into here as well. So negative 2 minus 1, that will be negative 3. So this whole thing here will become 3. Okay, so hang on. So when you are at this stage here, let x let this thing here be -2, and then the whole thing will well, it will allow you to work out b. So b equals 3. So overall now we can rewrite this as this, because earlier it was a plus b, and then we figured out that a equals 1 and then b equals 3. So now this thing here is simply this thing plus this thing here. So to integrate this, we would integrate this, and then we would integrate this, which would then give you this. So this here is our final answer. Okay. When you come to do this, you've got to train yourself to be able to jump from here to find A and B straight away. So what you do here, well, looking at this here, you've got to be able to train yourself to do this. In your mind, multiply both sides by this thing here. Okay, so if you multiply both sides by x minus 1, then the left hand side will disappear, and then this, don't forget you've got x minus 1 here, then this will disappear, and then x minus 1 here. So now you've got to train yourself to be able to get to this stage in your mind. Okay, so now you can let you can now let, well, you want to kill off this b here. So to work out a, you want to kill off this b. So if you let x equals positive 1, and then that would then kill off the b, and then you will put the 1 into here and the 1 into here. And then to find b from this stage here, in your mind you've got to times both sides by this thing here. So when you times both sides by x plus 2, this thing disappears. Remember, x plus 2, and then this is x plus 2. So this thing here disappears. So to find b, you would set x to be -2. Okay, so looking at this here, try to train yourself to visualize this. First step, multiply both sides by this thing here. So when you multiply by this thing here, the left hand side will disappear. This thing here will become a. This thing here will become x minus 1 here. So that's the first step, and then you would set this to be positive 1. And then the second step, from this stage here, multiply both sides by this. So this disappears, and then you've got x plus 2 here. And then to find b, you would set x to be -1. Okay, so train yourself to be able to do that. Okay.